Right, now we're going to continue with the editing of our hallway scene. Last time we left off, we had the first 6 clips of this in our timeline. We had a shot of our guy walking up to the building. So let's kind of review this cut. We decided that we would do the cut on right after he looked down to step forward is when we did the cut. So let's we'll revisit this in a little bit, but I want to just take a look at it again. He looks down, then he walks up the stairs, and we see the pan. Still walking.
Oh, hey.
All right, so we have them colliding with one another. Hey, Emily, yeah, okay. So our first major technical issue of this project just came to life, and that is that the audio for this clip is not synced with the video. It's actually about 12 frames off. The audio is happening 12 frames after the video is happening. I don't know how it happened. We were plugging in and unplugging the cameras from the external recorder that we were using, so it's possible the sync happened in the recorder at that point. Either way, we need to adjust the timing of that. Because I know it's 12 frames off, I'm going to do this the easy way right now, because and I'll adjust it, and then when we get to the later clips, there are some other clips that are also out of sync, so we'll adjust those also. So first of all, what I'm going to do is take this clip, move it off to the side so I have a little bit of room on either side. And with it selected, I'm going to hit Command L, and that will unlink the audio from the video. Then I'm going to select the audio. Let me just make sure I'm right. Yeah. Select the audio, and then with that selected, I'm going to go over to my number pad and hit -1, and that will shift it to the left 12 frames. Okay. Now as you can see, there's a gap between the edges of these clips. They're still the same length, but I've just retimed the audio from the video. Now, I want to link them back together. Before I do that, though, I'm going to go ahead and trim the edges of this audio so that this clip is the same size again. And then I'm going to draw a box around both of these clips to select both of them. So I got the audio and the video selected. Hit Command L again, and that will relink them. Now, Premiere thinks that they're out of sync now, because now that they're linked, the audio and the video, according to Premiere, are 12 frames off. But we know that they're now synced. So if I extend the right edge of this clip out, trim it out to the right and lengthen it out, I can watch it and make sure that it actually looks and sounds proper.
Yeah. I've been pretty good. How about you? Oh, I've been.
Okay, so their mouths are now in sync with their voices. So to bring these back together, the term for, last time I talked about selecting this black space in between 2 clips and hitting delete. That is actually a ripple delete. So if I, just to pretend, I'm going to re-find this spot for the, hey Emily.
Oh, hey.
Hey, Emily.
Oh, hey.
Emily.
So right before she says Caleb, I'm going to hit C for my blade tool to cut that right there, V to select this, and then I'm going to right click on it and select ripple delete, and it'll do both of those deletes simultaneously. Honestly, for me, unless I've got a keyboard shortcut that is a ripple delete, it's faster for me to, because my mouse is already here, it's faster for me to just select that, and hit delete twice rather than right click. But the other way to ripple delete that would be right before she says Caleb, if I have my mouse on the edge of this clip as though I'm going to trim it, if I hold down my command key till my bracket turns into a yellow bracket that faces right, that means it is temporarily turned into the ripple tool. So if I now select it, watch what happens when I let go after trimming that. It sucks it up to the edge so that it automatically deletes that black space rather than leaving it there. That's called a ripple edit.
The button is command.
Yeah, you hold down command and it temporarily turns your selection tool into the ripple tool. So then you can do your tool. And the cool thing about that is if there are other clips out to the side, off to the right, that happen after. So let me just pretend that we have, that we have multiple clips off to the side here. And we have all this editing going on at the end. And I need to trim this clip back to this Caleb line. I can't just grab this clip and drag it over. I need all the rest of the clips as well. Otherwise, I've just got this black thing that's going to ripple down the entire timeline. That's why it's called a ripple edit, is because if I select this, hit delete, it pulls everything with it. So if I ripple trim with that yellow bracket, pull it that way, then everything gets sucked in with it and they stay together. They're all magnetized. Okay?
Hey, Emily. Caleb, right? Yeah.
All right, so here's probably, this might be a good opportunity for our first J-cut. Because her Caleb is so different, I'd probably rather, let me just ripple this out this way. Oh, so ripple works the other direction too. If I ripple edit this clip out this way, it'll push everything to make room for it. So that's nice.
Emily. Caleb, right?
Okay, so that Caleb right sounds much better than the one in the clip we're using. So that's the audio that I want from that clip. So let me undo this so that we have our cut that's happening visually where we want it to happen. Let's take a look at it.
Oh, hey. Hey, Emily. Caleb, right? Yeah.
So there's the Caleb right. So now what I want to do is I want to keep this video, but I want to use this audio for her line saying Caleb. The way to do that is if I hold down Option or Alt and select this audio, it will not select the video. So now I can trim with just that audio selected. So again, hold down Alt. I don't have to select. I can just go for it with my trim tool. I can hold down Alt and grab that, and it'll only bring the audio with it. Okay?
Hey, Emily. Caleb, right? Yeah.
So this kind of works because we've just barely got the side of her. We're kind of more interested in what's going on with him because his face is more pointed toward the camera. This may not still be the best way to cut this scene together, but that is an L cut because this join forms an L. That's why it's called an L cut. If we did it the other direction, then it would have been called a J cut because this forms a J. So that's where the term L cut and J cut comes from. So just to review that, holding down Option will allow you to select and make the edit to just the audio or just the video. So I'm holding down Option right now to make that. But that is also a good opportunity to show you the roll tool. The rolling edit tool is right here in your toolbox. Oh, that's ripple, sorry. Where is the roll tool? It's weird. There, it's underneath the ripple tool. The rolling edit tool is N. N for rolling edit. But here's a cool thing. Rather than going over and grabbing the tool, you can temporarily turn your selection tool, which is V, into the rolling tool by having your mouse over an intersection of two clips. See how it turns into right, left facing arrows? That's your rolling edit tool. So watch this. If I select that and pull it to the right, I have simultaneously added, trimmed more into this clip and trimmed stuff out of this clip. So the timing of the two clips is the same. I just change the point that they do the cut from one clip to the other. It's like taking two pencils next to each other and setting them down on the table and running your hand over them. One rolls one direction while the other one adds and takes away. They do it in tandem. So hopefully that makes sense. Only problem there was I did it to both the audio and the video. So this tool is the same way. If I want to use the rolling edit tool, hold down Command, there's my rolling tool. Hold down Option again, then click, does it to only the audio. Okay, so that's a quicker way to create an L cut or a J cut, is you use your rolling edit tool, hold down Option, and you can roll the audio so that you just have the audio. All right, and I'm looking for this bump. This is her saying, Caleb, right? Okay, that's what those bumps mean. That's why they're called waveforms also, because they look like waves rolling onto the beach. All right, sort of.
Hey,
Emily.
Caleb, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How you been?
Pretty good. How about you?
Oh, I've been.
Okay, so he says, how you been?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How you been?
So that's probably where I would expect to see a shot of her, right? Because he's asking her a question, so we as an audience are going to anticipate that she's going to say something. So before her line, I'm going to hit C again, and I'm going to just delete all this other stuff that I had there as an example. All right, now we're going to go back into our project panel and find the shot of her. We've got a couple to choose from. So I'm going to go back to my icon view, double click on my video bin, expand this out just a little bit so I can scrub along these clips and see what my options are. Okay, so this shot, it's not as extreme as I was expecting. It's a close-up of her, but see his hands are kind of getting into it there occasionally. I kind of wanted his shoulder to be in the shot a little bit more, because that's called a dirty single. So he is dirtying up her shot with his body between her and the camera. If there was nothing of him in the shot whatsoever, it would have been a clean single. And this is kind of a close-up shot. And then this shot over here looks like the same one, but I think oh, you know what? That's the same take, isn't it? Just this one was done with the recorder. This one was done on the camera. So let's go to clip 3A. So that's a wider shot. And this is 3B. This is her shot. So that's definitely a little bit wider. So let's go ahead and use this shot. Let's find the point in this shot where he says, how you been?
Pretty good. How about you?
Oh, that was a fluke. Sorry. All right, so let me just hit an in and out point. I'm going to use J, K, and L. J plays backward, K stops, L plays forward, and I'm going to use I and O to set an in and out point. So let me go back just a little bit.
Hi.
You love it, huh?
Stop it, play forward.
Yeah, Emily.
Yeah.
How you been?
Okay, so I just hit spacebar to stop it right after he says how you been, so I can hit I, set an in point there.
Pretty good. How about you?
Oh, I've been doing good. Are you still dating what?
Okay, so she asks him a question. You'd kind of expect him to see his face, right? But I'm going to anticipate something here. if we cut to the other camera has different audio in it. So I might want to stick with the audio from this camera just so I have consistent sound. So I'm going to let this play a little longer.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Jeez, where did you get that last night?
Okay, so before, oh my gosh, the sound is like way off on this clip.
Yeah, it's even worse on ours, I think.
Oh, really? Okay, so we're going to adjust that. Let's grab this and pull it down this way, and let's make an adjustment for how this audio is off, because you can see it right here.
Pretty good. How about you?
Oh, I've been doing good. Are you still dating, what's his bucket?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then yeah, like 10 minutes later. Actually, no, it's 1 second and 5 frames. So let's go. Do you remember how to unlink these clips?
Command L.
Yep, so we'll unlink the audio from the video with the Command L. And now let's see if there's anything in here that we can use as a visual cue. I've already done this, so I know what it is.
Caleb, right?
Yeah, Emily.
Yeah.
How you been?
Pretty good. How about you?
Oh, I've been doing good. Are you still...
Okay, watch his hand here. I've watched this already. See what he's doing with his hand? He snaps his finger. So I know right there, that's probably a good, really clean cue that I could get to sync the audio up with the video. So now what I got to do is go into my audio and see if I can find where he snaps his finger so I can match it up with this frame. So watch this.
Are you still dating, what's his...
Did you hear that? Are you still dating, what's his name? That little, because I did this already, I'm kind of cheating. See that little peak right there? There's like a very, very small bump right there in the audio. That's him snapping his finger. So if I go back to the frame where, here's another little tip for navigating. I'm using my left arrow to go back 1 frame at a time. Okay? So I'm tapping this, going backward until I see his finger snap in, which is about there. So there's like a, right there. Now I can go back, grab this, and line that up so that it's happening together. And let's see. Let's play it back and watch.
How you been?
Pretty good. How about you?
Oh, I've been doing good. Are you still dating, what's his bucket?
Okay, so that's pretty good. It might be 1 frame early now, actually. So let's do on our keyboard with the audio selected +1. That'll move it over 1 frame. See if I can see if it looks better.
Oh, I've been doing good. Are you still dating, what's his bucket?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I think that actually does look a little better. So I'm going to select both of these. So I'm going to select one, hold down Shift, select the other, or drag a box around both of them to select them both. And then Command L to relink them. And I got 1 second and 4 frames. That's way off. Okay, so now, but what we can do is go find that line where he asks her the
How you
question.
been?
How you been? I can hit C to cut that, V to select this side because that's junk now, right? And then I can grab this, select this black space in between the 2 clips and delete that. And I've got both clips next to each other. Let's see how it looks.
Emily.
Caleb, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
How you been?
Pretty good. How about you?
Oh, I've been doing good. Are you still dating, what's his bucket?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
All right, so she shows off her ring.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so let's cut that right after he says, oh, wow. Okay, here's a, oh, sorry, question?
No, you're okay. So to fix the sound manually, how do you put in the colon? Does that make sense? So you do the -1.
So here's the thing about time code. If you want to adjust things manually, so if you want to do 1 second and 4 frames, I'm going to shift this clip 1 second and 4 frames. Let me get this bin out of the way. So with it selected, I hit plus, and that brings up this little move it to the right dialog box. If you do 104, Premiere will interpret that as 1 second and 4 frames. Okay, so, but bear in mind, if I keep typing in numbers, if I go 10400, that's actually 1 minute, 4 seconds, and 0 frames.
Okay.
Okay, so every 2 numbers, that's the next colon. All right, good question. All right, we need to get the other shot. So she says something to him. We're looking at her while he's asking her this question, right? We want to see him ask her the question. But I want to keep the audio from this shot, because if I go over to my project panel, this is clip 00003_B, so this is camera B for clip 3. I'm going to go into my list view and look for clip 3 camera A. I'm going to double click on that so I can watch it here and listen to it. It's very different audio.
Yeah, Emily.
Yeah,
How you been?
pretty good. How about you?
Oh, I've been doing good. Are you still dating
And the audio is way off again. But question?
So the audio is off because when I was recording, what did I do?
The audio was off because of a technical problem with the external recorder. It didn't have anything to do with you.
Okay, I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's something I need to...
Okay.
I just barely had upgraded the firmware on that, so it's probably doing some sort of internal compensation that I need to take off so that it'll sync the audio in.
Alright.
So that's not your problem.
Okay.
But it's a great problem to have for this class because we need to know how to fix these things. Yeah. All right, so he's saying his line. Let's get this a little bit. All right, I just hit J a couple of times so I can play backwards even faster. If you keep hitting J, it'll play Mouseketeers super, super fast backward. If you keep hitting L, it'll do it faster and faster and faster. That's why K is good for stopping. All right.
Pretty good. How about you?
So I'm going to hit an end point here. Just it's rough because I have to adjust the audio.
I'm doing good. Are you still dating what's his bucket?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's enough of that. Let's bring this down, put it here later on in our timeline. I'm going to unlink these, and because these two are the same clips, I'm going to just magically hope that if I unlink it, select the audio, type in -104, that's the right amount. Let's see.
I've been doing good. Are you still dating what's his bucket?
Magic. All right, so I'm going to link those back up. And I'm just going to grab, actually, yeah. Let me hold down, because these are linked now, I'm going to hold down Alt and trim the audio so that it matches up with this clip again. And I'm going to go here and look for, all right, just to tell you what I'm about to do, I'm going to place this clip on the track above the other clip so that I can do non-destructive editing of these two clips, have them both so that I can just cut back and forth by cutting the top one. And I'll show you what I mean. So just take the video clip of this and push it up to track 2. Take the audio clip and push it down to track 2. So track 1 of audio and track 1 of video, they sit next to each other, and then they expand away from each other as you increase subsequent tracks. So if I take this shot of Caleb and I place it at the same time as the shot of her, Emily, they're going to now coexist. But I only see the shot of Caleb. And that's because he's on video track 2. The which means the one on top is the one that gets seen. It's just like Photoshop. Whichever layer is on top, that's the one you see. I can see what's underneath by clicking on this eyeball over here. That turns the track on and off. So just like we used the finger snap for syncing the audio, let's use the finger snap to sync the video also. So I'm going to expand the audio for track 2 now so I can hopefully try and find where this finger snap is. I think it's right there. And then the finger snap, yep, it's right there. So let's turn this off and look for the finger snap in this one also, right there. So now, if I can get this audio finger snap to match up with this audio finger snap, what would that say about the video? Hopefully they would be the same, right? So now let's turn this back on. That probably confused some of you a whole bunch. But now I can go here and say,
Yeah, how you been? Pretty good, how about you?
Oh, I've been doing good. Are you still dating, what's his bucket?
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
Now what we have is
Pretty good, how about you? Oh,
both camera shots for that part of the scene are matched up. Now because I'm focusing on the audio from this clip instead of this clip, I could either disarm this so that it's not there anymore, so I could Alt select the audio, right click, and just click enable, unclick enable, and that will turn that audio off, and then I'll only have the audio from the other shot. So here's how we can really test if our videos are synced together, is because if we're using the video from this shot and the audio from the other shot and they're still lip synced, then our videos are also synced.
pretty good, how about you?
Oh, I've been doing good. Are you still dating, what's his bucket?
Okay, so that's good, right? Yes, it is. Now, let's trim this back to where he starts talking. So we have cut from the 2 shot to her shot and then to his shot.
Yeah, how you been? Pretty good, how about you?
Oh, I've been doing good. Are you still dating, what's his bucket?
And then right before, so he asks her a question, we're going to anticipate her answer. So let's cut this and trim this back later because we want to get his reaction too. So let's get more of these.
Good. Are you still dating, what's his bucket?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Jeez, when did you get that, last night?
All right. So that's quite the reaction. Do we want to stick with this shot, or do we want to get a closer shot of him to really get the expression that's on his face? What do you think? Should we go in closer?
Sure.
Okay, let's do it. Let's go in closer. All right, let's get him. That's the wide shot, so this would be shot 4. Nope, not shot 4. Oh yeah, we shot the closer ones first, so this is going to be clip 1. All right, there's his reaction.
Okay.
Emily,
Caleb, right?
yeah,
How are ya?
I've been doing good. How have you been doing?
So the part I'm interested in is when he goes, "Oh wow, oh," you know, to the ring.
Pretty good.
You still dating oh.
Yeah.
Whoa. Oh.
Yeah.
That's where, I mean, it sounds funny to listen to people backward, but the J really helps because you're like, oh, I missed it. And then rather than using your mouse to try and like go back to the frame where you want, if you just hit J, it'll start playing backward and then you can Just play it back and forth until you have the place where you want, and then you hit I for your endpoint.
Oh, when did you get that? Last night?
When did you get that last night? All right. So I'm going to drag this down. And I'm going to put this one on track 2 because that's where I had the other shot of his. It's just to keep it consistent for me so I can have all of her shots on track 1 and all of his shots on track 2. Because at this point we've established that we're using the camera that's on her for audio. So now we need to go in and find that same moment in her shot so we can get the audio from it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoa.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
When did you get that? Last night?
A year ago, actually.
Oh.
All right, that'll be enough. Put that down, track 1. Now, this ought to be a little bit easier. If we zoom in here, we can definitely see his O. Okay, and I'm looking for this rise in the audio right here. Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
When did you get that? Last.
Okay, that sounds like they're synced up. So instead of hanging on to this little piece of audio, I'm going to Alt select it and delete it. Okay, so in this method over here, it was me hanging on to it, just keeping it on the timeline, but disenabling it. In this method, I just deleted it. I personally, unless I think I'm going to use the audio from the other camera, I'll just delete it. But let's wait. Let's go back here and listen to what it sounds like having both cameras' audio.
Oh.
Yeah.
When did you get that? Last night?
Okay, versus having just the one camera's audio.
Oh.
Yeah.
When did you get that? Last night?
What do you guys think?
Makes it louder.
Makes it louder, but what about like the tonal quality? The other microphone's getting more background audio. This camera's getting just the body microphones, which makes them sound really close. Which one's preferable?
Body mic.
The body mic? Okay. I agree. It's closer, it's clearer. Okay, so we're going to keep that. So we got to get his reaction.
What's his bucket?
Yeah.
This is another good opportunity for a J cut because we have an O.
Oh, wow.
We have an oh wow in this take, and this one we have a
Oh.
Yeah.
no. Okay, so there's two different performances. Which one do we like better? From an audio standpoint, which one do we like better? Which one sounds better? Let's go with the oh wow. Let's keep the oh wow. But
Oh, wow.
instead of cutting to this shot, we're going to cut to this shot over here. So let's get rid of this one of him and grab all of these together and move them over the top. Now watch what happens as I move these over. They're actually going to cut in because they're occupying the same track. Because I'm moving these over, they're going to chop into it. And then we're going to have a real issue with that intersection.
What's his bucket?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
When did you get that? Last.
Okay. But let's do another little trick with cutting. If I get the razor blade tool, I can if I hold down Shift, I can cut through everything. If I hold down Shift, it gets this big vertical line, and it will slice through everything at that point, audio and video, no matter how many tracks there are. So I want to cut this right here so I can get rid of this extra little bit of this one. So I'm going to hold down V, hit delete, select that black space, hit delete again. Now let's listen.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I want the oh wow. This is probably going to look really bad. But I'm going to roll this. So I'm going to hold down Command and do a roll edit to get more of this clip. And then see how it looks if I pull this one back just a little bit. So I've simulated another L cut where I've cut on the video at a different time that I've cut on the audio, even though I'm using audio and video from two different clips.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Where did you get that, Les?
Okay, so did you watch this cut again? Because in this performance, he's just saying, oh, but we're using the audio saying, oh, wow. Tell me if you even notice based on where we made this cut.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Where did you get that last night?
It actually sounds, his lips are making a oh, so wow or oh, it works. That just works.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, and so the reason why I waited until after I heard him say, oh wow, is because his oh wow is technically an interruption of what she's saying. So she's saying, yeah. And then his reaction isn't expected by us as an audience. So we're waiting until we hear him before we're motivated by the cut to look at him. So that's why we waited until after we start to hear him for a few frames before we cut to his picture. Okay?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Where did you get that last night?
A year ago, actually.
Okay, so then, because we're on his closer shot, we cut to her closer shot as this scene continues. All right. Now, back to the rolling tool. Let's go back to the beginning of our timeline. I hit the home key. I want to explore options for this first cut. Okay, that's pretty good. But let's just use the roll tool. Roll it back this way. Now the cool thing about this roll tool is it shows me the last clip or the last frame of the first clip on the left side and the first frame of the right clip on the right side. So it shows us the exact frame that this cut is happening. So in theory, he could step up a step before we cut. Let's just see what that looks like. I don't like that as much, so let's try going back. Let's see what it looks like if we do the cut right in the middle of his breath. Just by using the roll tool, we're just changing the timing of the cut. I don't like that as much either. So I've explored a few different options, and I like just cutting on his head looking down best. He actually did a really good job of like doing the same action every time because he snapped his finger in several takes too on that at the same time on that line. So that's really good for continuity. Just watching the scene for now.
Oh, hey.
Hey, Emily.
Caleb, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
How you been?
Pretty good. How about you?
Oh, I've been doing good. Are you still dating, what's his bucket?
Yeah.
All right. Now that we've got this cut together, we have another audio issue. We've established that we're using the audio from this camera, but we're using the audio from the other camera for this shot. So we need to go into our project file and find the audio from the other camera to put right here in this little space. So this is shot 5, camera A. So let's go find shot 5, camera B, and just get this little piece where he says this line.
Emily.
Caleb, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
How you been?
Yeah, that's all we need. Yeah.
Caleb, right?
All right.
Yeah, yeah. Hi.
Here, but
All right, so because we only want the audio, here's another little trick for dragging things down to the timeline. If I grab this right here and drag it down, I'm going to drop the audio and the video down into the timeline, which is okay so long as I drop it down onto a track where nothing's going to get overwritten. You can accidentally overwrite a clip by dropping it on top of another clip. I don't want to do that. Another little thing is I'm only interested in the audio from this shot. So there are these two little icons down here, drag video only, drag audio only. If I drag audio only, it'll drag just that audio from that clip, and then I can use these waveforms down here to match them up. So here's the yeah. So, and if I want to fine tune this, I can zoom in on it a bit and try to match up these peaks and these valleys right here. I can do it using my keypad, +1, enter, +1, enter, +1, enter. Nope, too far. I find that to be a little easier than, this is one of those times where snapping you'd want to turn off because you want to move in such small increments. So now I just want to make sure that the ends of these clips match up. Then I can delete this audio and then move this up. And guess what? I can now, if I want to, link the audio and video from two different cameras or two different clips. I can still do that linking. It means they're linked together now. So as a little pre-production exercise, I could, in theory, go and put all the clips from the other camera on the timeline and sync the opposite camera's audio to it. Then I'll have them synced all the time. But anyway, this is a really, really short scene. Probably not worth that much effort. All right, so let's listen to this.
Hey, Emily.
Caleb, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How you been?
pretty good. How about you?
Oh, I've been doing good.
Okay, so now there's no single shot where we have this echoey, echo chamber sounding hallway back to body microphones. Now we're using the same audio from all of them. So
Still dating, what's his bucket?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
When did you get that, last night?
a year ago actually.
all right. Oh, has it been that long? All right. Let's drag the end of both of these clips way out so we can use more of his shot.
Wow.
Yeah.
When did you get that, last night?
So let's cut him there and then find the place where we're going to come back to him. So I'm going to grab the left side of this clip to get less of it. I'm not retiming them, not changing the timing of any of them. I'm just moving them and trimming them, or just trimming the edges.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
When did you get that, last night?
A year ago actually.
Oh,
Yeah, well,
has it been that long?
So maybe right before he says, has it been that long, we can cut to him.
yeah, well,
Has it been that long?
yep, it has.
Yeah.
What are the best reactions?
Yep, it has.
Yeah.
Well,
Maybe this will be
I got it.
the point. Let's use the blade tool, hold down shift and get through both of these. This will be a good point to maybe cut back to one of these wider shots where she's like, I gotta go, and that can be all awkward and stuff. Especially after he does this.
Well,
You know? All right, so let's watch the flow, just see how it's going.
pretty good. How about you?
Oh, I've been doing good. Are you still dating, what's his bucket?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
When did you get that, last night?
a year ago actually.
Oh,
Yeah, well,
has it been that long?
yep, it has.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay, all right. They're good sports. All right. So I purposefully I can't remember which one of these cameras. I shot this so that it would kind of purposefully be awkward because there's all this negative space out here.
Yeah, it's been a little while. Well, I gotta go. I'll talk to you later.
Alright, I guess.
I was going that way.
Oh, well, I'm going that way. You can go together.
I'll go that way.
See ya.
All right. That's not what I want to use here. Maybe I want to use this one.
Actually, about a year ago. Yeah, it's been a little while. Well, I gotta go. I'll talk to you later.
Alright, I guess.
I was going that.
All right. So we want to cut to this one, right? And then when she's walking away, we'll cut to that other one we just looked at. I can't remember if we shot them both at the same time or not. It'll be really helpful because then we can keep using the audio from this camera. So I'm going to hit an endpoint here.
Well, I gotta go. I'll talk to you later.
Alright, I guess.
I was going that way.
Oh, well, I'm going that way. You can go together.
I'll go that way.
See ya.
All right. That shot's kind of a fun shot, so I'll let it ride out. Let's see how I did on my endpoint.
I gotta go. I'll talk to you.
Oh, I got it, and then I got it. We got two of them.
I gotta go. I'll talk to you later.
So let's just trim this short of the well. And then I'm going to move this one in because I've got two I gottas. Here's an I gotta, and then here's an I gotta. Let's listen to them.
I gotta go. I'll talk. I gotta go. I'll talk.
So if I just grab this clip, push it in here to where it cuts into the I gotta, then because we've got his shot right here over the top of it, it creates a nice little cover for that audio cut.
I gotta go. I'll talk to you later.
Alright, I guess.
I was.
Now let's see if this shot syncs up pretty good because we need to get right here.
Alright, I guess. Sing it here. Alright, I guess.
I was going that way.
Oh, well, I'm going that way. Way you can.
All right, let's see how we like this. And I think we did shoot these at the same time, so let's see how the audio matches up.
I was going that way. Going that way.
Ooh. Pretty close. Oops, went the wrong way. Let's zoom in, and then here's these two peaks. I think they match up. So let's see.
Oh, well, I'm going that way. You can go together.
I'll go that way.
See ya.
All right. So now, delete that.
I gotta go. I'll talk to you later.
Alright, I guess.
I was going that way.
Oh, well, I'm going that way. You can go together.
I'll go that way.
See ya.
And we can look in, I think we got, I can't remember if we got a good shot of him bumping into that pillar from any other angles. So let's just switch to our thumbnail view, look at our video, and then we can just kind of scrub through these shots and see if we got it good. This might be good because he's kind of like lonely. So that one's all right. In fact, this might be a better shot to cut to when she comes back. Oh, alternate edit to explore here. Let's set an endpoint here.
Oh, I'm going that way too. We can go together.
go the other way.
Alright. Because, see ya. Hey, see, no,
The way.
alright.
All right, so let's explore that one. Then we can also explore, so that was clip 5A. What does clip 5B look like?
Two, we can go together.
I'll go the other way.
Alright. Because, see, because, see ya.
So that might be a better, so that was clip 5 and the other one was clip 6. That might be a better way to end the scene actually, from a performance standpoint. All right, his shot needs to go on top, her shot needs to go on bottom. So let me rearrange these. And then let's see about timing these together.
I'm going that way too, we can go together. See ya.
I'll go the other.
I'll go the other way.
I'll go the other way.
Gets a little bit tedious sometimes.
That way too, we can go together.
I'll go the other way.
Alright. Oh, I'm going that way too, we can go together.
I'll go the other way. I'll go the other way.
Looks like I got some audio syncing issues again.
Oh, I'm going that way too, we can go together.
I'll go the other way.
Ooh. Oh, that's clip 5, huh? Okay, we already know that one's 12 frames off, so I'm going to go and select all 4 of these. Hit Command L, unlink them. Select the 2 audio files, -1, 2, and hopefully they're synced up now.
Going that way too, we can go together.
I'll go the other way.
Yeah, sweet. Now we can grab these 2, link them back together. These 2, link them back together. Of course, we don't need the audio from this one. All right, now let's see. Do we want this performance?
I was going that way.
Oh, I'm going that way, we can go together.
I'll go that way.
Okay,
Going
versus.
that way too, we can go together.
I'll go the other way.
All right, so we've got this line. I'm going that way too. We can go together.
I was going that way.
Oh, I'm going that way, we can go together.
I like the timing of that cut, but I want to go to this shot. How do we do that? Audio, right? So let's go,
Oh, I'm going that way, we can go together.
and then let's cut this. Trim that back. I ripple trimmed that, by the way. I want to get that part of this line, which means I don't want to get too much of this audio. I want to get it till after he says.
Oh, I'm going that way too, we can go together.
So I'm going to just hold down Alt, trim this audio back to here. Trim this clip back here so it doesn't destroy this one. And now, because I've got this video track 1's going to start chopping in here, but I'm interested in where these 2 audio tracks are going to intersect, because this video clip is now where the cut's going to happen on track 2.
I was going that way.
Oh, I'm going that way, we can go together.
I'll go the other way.
Alright. See ya.
And now, let's see if I could get her right before she actually does her exit. Because then when I'm cutting, this shot's kind of panning with her,
I'll go the other way.
and he goes off the screen in this shot. So if we cut to him and she's off the screen, then we don't get a sense of spatial awareness in my own brain anyway. That's kind of what I'm thinking about right now. So if I cut right here, she's still one step away from exiting the screen. So that's why I chose that timing. Otherwise, if I cut right here, she'll be gone.
I guess.
See, so if I just 6 frames sooner,
I guess.
makes a difference.
Yeah.
All right, so let's watch the whole scene one last time. See if there's anything that bugs us.
Oh, hey,
Hey, Emily.
Caleb, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How you been?
pretty good. How about you?
Oh, I've been doing good. Are you still dating, what's his bucket?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
When did you get that, last night?
a year ago actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, well,
Has it been that long?
yep, it has.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta go. I'll talk to you later.
I guess.
I was going that way.
Oh, I'm going that way. We can go together.
I'll go the other way.
Alright. I guess. Yeah.
You know, it's funny because he exits that way, but he really was going the way that she was going. So they both ended up going in the opposite directions of where they were going initially. What a great scene. Just kidding. All right, we're going to continue more. We're going to add music to the beginning. We're going to do color correcting. We're going to fix the audio panning issues. We're going to do multi-camera editing. We're going to do titles. We're going to cover everything with this project. But that's it for today. So, see you next time.